Jai Hind, welcome to Dev Talks for this chota sa live update on what's happening with Shahbaz Sharif's visit to China and, of course, our very own External Affairs Minister Jaishankar hitting back at China during the SCO meet. Some interesting developments that took place in the past 24 hours that I wanted to discuss with you. So I'm going to take you through this short little video of this particular update. But before I do, guys, please remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, check out the video that I did with Major General Rajiv Narayanan released last night about the third front. Very, very interesting, detailed presentation with regards to this third front. And of course, yes, if you can, do help out Dev Talks with a small contribution by either becoming a member, sending us a super chat or a super sticker, or you can just directly contribute to my effort with the UPI number mentioned below your screen. Now, we all know Shahbaz Sharif has been planning to visit China. Interestingly, that this is pretty much the last big visit of Shahbaz Sharif in this particular time or this particular year, if I may. He has already visited the United States. He went for the SEO summit, and he also visited Saudi Arabia. This was something, the Chinese visit was supposed to be the first, and I personally thought that Shahbaz Sharif would run to China the first as soon as he becomes the Prime Minister. A couple of things that we can see right now is that when Shahbaz Sharif meets Xi Jinping today, as a matter of fact, funnily speaking, Shahbaz Sharif will be the first head of state to facilitate Xi Jinping after securing or re-anointing himself as the president or the chairman of everything in China. So Shahbaz Sharif will provide some sort of a legitimacy to Xi Jinping with regards to this thing. I wonder whether this particular visit has been timed so that China could also use the Pakistanis to get some sort of a benefit out of this visit, because at the end of it, ये तो जाते का माल है. Pakistani कोई आएंगे तो कुछ लेके जाएंगे. China did not help the Pakistanis during the floods. The floods were devastating. The Chinese did not do anything. They sent some 25,000 tents, some 50 or $100 million. It's a very small, irrelevant sort of an account. Why is he going there? Big question. Answer is karega kya aur? There is no other thing that the Chinese can do. The Pakistanis are expected to request the Chinese to roll over deposits and reschedule debts. Total debt is about $27 billion. They're asking for about $6.3 or $6.5 billion. The Chinese, of course, are very pissed off with the Pakistanis, and this they have mentioned in the open forum, where the Pakistanis have not been able to provide a certain sense of security to the Chinese workers within Pakistan. Interestingly, there have been attacks. BLA has gone up quite a bit. As a matter of fact, we saw that bus attack, and we saw the attack in Karachi. So Chinese are a bit worried about this entire situation, and there have been statements that have come out from the BLA and very other organizations telling the Chinese that, listen, if you come here and do stuff, we are going to hit you. So they are obviously on a certain amount of back foot. They're on a back foot for whole other reasons, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Interestingly, Shahbaz Sharif wrote an article in the Global Times a couple of days ago, Chinese mouthpiece, by the way, Global Times. So he was preparing his visit, and he said Pakistan can serve as the manufacturing base for China, an extension of its industrial supply chain network. Can you imagine? So he's basically wanting to make Pakistan into a Chinese factory. He said that these are two big countries, and they are important for the stability of the region, and their relationship is higher than the Himalayas and all that story that all of you know. Recently, one news came out that the Chinese have approved a ML1 rain project, which is supposed to link up Karachi with Peshawar. This was part of the CPEC, not done for a long time. This has been a delayed project. And as a matter of fact, this news has come out multiple times. So I don't know whether this particular thing is actually going to happen or not. It is also pertinent to see that since the time the Chinese decided to put this ML1 project into the CPEC, the Pakistanis have said we will not invest anything initially. And guys, I made a video about the CPEC. If you guys want to, please check it out, which will give you the details of what kind of projects that the Chinese have gotten into, what kind of work are the Chinese and Pakistanis trying to do together, and what is the actual ground reality. So check out that particular video. It's called CPEC, a reality check. So as I was saying, the Pakistanis and Chinese, this was supposed to be a joint project. The Chinese said, okay, we'll take it into the CPEC. Pakistani said, bhaiya, hum to nahi dalenge paise iske andar. So that is what exactly happened. One of the things that happened recently was an 11th joint cooperation meeting that took place between the Pakistanis and the Chinese. This happened, I think, last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, where the Pakistanis encouraged or actually urged or pushed or begged, whatever word that you like to use, the Chinese to put across the $18.5 billion, where five projects were supposed to be, with regards to five projects so that they could be moved up into a fast track. Very, very interesting that the Pakistanis actually flagged these delays with the Chinese, saying that your money is supposed to come here, karo isko aage yaar, kya kar rahe ho? So all is not well within the CPEC as well. I'll talk about Minister Jaishankar, but I just want to ask two questions. Why would China entertain Shahbaz Sharif? What is the reason? The one reason that I told you is that Xi Jinping would be looking at some sort of a legitimacy through a world leader, if I may use that term for the Pakistani Prime Minister. At the end of it, he is a Prime Minister of a sovereign nation. He is the Prime Minister of a nation that is getting a little close to the Americans right now. So this particular visit could also be throw the Pakistanis a bit off balance with regards to the newfound love. कि भाई इधर से भी तू ले ले उधर से भी कुछ आ जाए तो पाकिस्तान थोड़ा सा that's how Pakistan plays between both these things. The cat and the dog will be fighting, and the Pakistan who's in the middle is going to have a little fun. Very, very interestingly, I'll talk about the impact of this further issue, further movement between the Chinese and Pakistanis in terms of their economics. I'll give a small statement about that. But something very interesting happened yesterday, on the backdrop of Defense Minister Rajnath Singh's statement that we will take back POK and Gilgit-Baltistan. This is something that we have to do. Of course, India has been raising a lot of objections with regards to CPEC, which goes through the parts of Gilgit-Baltistan and POK before it enters mainland Pakistan. It's CPEC, as you all know, is Xi Jinping's dream project. As a matter of fact, the Chinese say that, it is just an economic project. We don't want to get between a bilateral issue. And this is a statement that they had issued last week as well. They said that our stand on Kashmir is the same, that it's a bilateral issue. You guys both sit down and talk and resolve it. We don't want to do anything about it. Right? So Minister Jaishankar, in the meeting where the SCO foreign ministers were meeting right now, this included the Pakistani foreign minister himself, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Russian Minister Mikhail Mistutin, Prime Ministers of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. I think it was a very polite pushback to the Chinese, where Minister Jaishankar actually mentioned that connectivity projects should respect the sovereignty, territorial integrity of member states and respect international law. Very, very simple, very crisp. And India, mind you, was the only country that stayed out of the joint communique that actually happened with regards to this SCO. All other countries got together and said, wow, Chinese project is damn good. So India was the only country that did not sign that joint communication. Now, coming to the end of the video, I want to take a minute and actually talk about this whole Pakistani tryst with Pakistani new approach towards China. What will be the impact? Of course, they will get a little breathing space as far as economics is concerned. One of the things that we will also see, that the Pakistanis will face challenges as far as the IMF is concerned. Because the IMF had very clearly told Pakistan that if you do this again, if you go on taking Chinese loans, you're going to be finding it very difficult for us to actually help you improve in this entire situation. Chinese loans, about $23 billion, make up the largest chunk of the bilateral debt. So if the Chinese or some Pakistani actually tells you that this is an investment of the Chinese within Pakistan, one must ask the question that how have you got this particular loan on your back? Investments are not loans. Investments are places where people put their money and get into business with you. This is a loan, right? Interestingly, also, we saw this on the backdrop of the Pakistani army chief running to America and the Pakistani Prime Minister running to China. So this is two opposites, right? We've got this very funny sort of a situation where the army chief, in his dialogues during the Islamabad security dialogue, mentioned that we want to rebalance ourselves with the United States, and here is the Prime Minister who runs to China. करेगा क्या बेचारा, पैसे तो चाहिए उसको, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. So army runs to the US, civilians run to the Chinese. India, of course, takes over the SCO in the next some time, the Chinese have got a couple of jolts from India in the SCO. One was this that Minister Jaishankar mentioned. The second was when the Chinese put out that wrong map and the Russians put it out back again, fixed the particular map. It is India has been putting across a certain amount of pressure on the Chinese. That is something that is visible. Of course, that dialogue or that statement by Minister Rajnath Singh, who had mentioned about POK and Gilgit-Baltistan, was pretty much recognized and picked up within China, and it was also responded to. Funnily speaking, the Pakistanis didn't respond to that, and I took that up in my particular video. I will be talking about this because I'm trying to figure out whether the Pakistanis are trying to basically look at what India does in terms of strategic communication and basically copy paste that. अपना तो कुछ है नहीं भाई, दूसरे का देख लो, जो अच्छा कर रहे हैं उनका देख लो. Right, MG Motor in India, there's been a huge Indian push on towards Chinese firms operating within India. Their executives have been, I won't say targeted, they've been actually fixed up. They've been brought to question with regards a lot of nefarious activities that they've been up to. A Chinese spy was caught recently. This woman had walked in from Nepal and kind of have been hiding as a monk in the northern part of the country. Of course, MG Motors is interesting because it was kind of trying to build up this base in India, and they've been raided and their books are under scanner for certain misconduct of financial transactions. Of course, India and US, the youth Abhyas, which is going to happen next to the Chinese border, is starting on the 15th of November. India did not budge to the Chinese pressure during the WNSS meeting that happened recently. This is a track 2 sort of a dialogue that takes place between India and China with regards to the border dispute, which is taking place. So there's youth Abhyas, which is also happening. And another big news, which the world is noticing, that India will have to replace China as the world's factory with regards to the iPhones. The Chinese iPhone assembly plant, Foxconn, recently it seems had a huge COVID breakout, and so we've seen the Chinese people running out from there. So obviously the productions are going to be hampered. A lot of people are expecting India to kind of take the role and take the lead and pretty much pick up this whole production. Something that we need to acknowledge. This is an opportunity for India. We need to see how to back that up. Guys, thanks so much. Short 12-minute update. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this little show. I will try and do, as I said a couple of days back, more of these updates with regards huge focus towards India, Pakistan, and China. We'll also see how we can do some other updates which are very, very important news in a small, concise fashion. Before I sign off, hit the like button. It helps me grow. Hit the subscribe. Check your bell. Hit the bell icon for the notifications. Ensure that you please go through the previous videos where I've covered a lot of ground with regards to these particular incidents and a lot more, especially the one last night, a fantastic presentation given by Major General Rajiv Narayanan. Check that out. I'm going to be coming in live tonight with a very special episode about India's foreign relations with one particular country which is coming into question. And of course, tomorrow I will try and get General Ravi Shankar on the line to start the study of understanding what is firepower. Before I sign off, request you all, if you can, please do subscribe. Please do help me out, and contribute to the Dev Talks effort. You can do that by becoming a member, sending us a super sticker or super chat, and also you can do a direct contribution to the UPI number mentioned below. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for this. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Till next time, guys. Jai Hind.